Terry, you nailed it. I didn't nail the scoreline. I thought it'd be a higher scoring game. I thought it'd be 3-2 to Arsenal. I thought they would win narrowly, but with more goals in the game. But I couldn't for the life of me understand why going into this match, Arsenal fans were panicking. Throw the season away. There's no way we can win. We're going to be too far behind City. As I said in the build-up, even with, and was it 6 or 7 players out injured for Arsenal in totality? Some first team, some strength, depth. Arsenal was still a better team than Tottenham, home or away. You don't finish 50 points plus ahead of them over the last 2 years combined and not be an exponentially better team. This Tottenham side has also been found out. They cannot defend set pieces. And do you know what's really funny about the not defending set pieces is when Big Ange Postecoglou admits he is not interested in Tottenham's set piece struggles, has dismissed it, has said that it isn't important. No wonder it isn't improving in any way, shape, or form. But what you saw from Arsenal today, again, it doesn't dispel anybody's overarching concerns, but today was a masterclass title-winning plan from Mikel Arteta. He knew that Tottenham would want to press high. He knew that they would want to dominate possession. So he set Arsenal up in a way where they were almost impossible to break down. Resolute, allowed very little spaces in between the lines, or in my day when I was a kid, we'd call it having 2 solid banks of 4 and allowing very little space for the opponents to play in. Mikel Arteta got it right. He didn't have the legs in the midfield that he would normally have. So what he had to do was shut up shop. And I thought that Arsenal did that impeccably well today. There were a few occasions where Solanke, I thought, played quite well for Spurs, and he was trying to bully players. There's a few times where Jorginho was just out-muscled, and the extra speed in that Spurs team was paying dividends for them in terms of winning the ball back. But that defensive line of Arsenal's, and as much as it's sad that Odegaard's out, Marino's not available, etc., the fact that your back 4 is available, that is why I don't think Arsenal fans should be panicking at this particular juncture. They are immense. They have the best defensive setup, the best defensive unit in the Premier League right now, in my humble opinion. They barely concede goals. They have 3 clean sheets in the opening 4 games. It's brilliant. And we're not going to suddenly, because it benefits Arsenal, start to rewrite the history of the game. We all believe that title-winning teams are built upon solid defenses. I still predict City to win the league as of today. But the idea that Arsenal can't win it is a joke to me. That doesn't mean you have to be favourites, but the idea they can't do it is an abomination when your defence is this good. Thus, I didn't understand the panic from Arsenal fans because of the injuries. It's going to be very hard next week when you go away to Manchester City, but Declan Rice will be back. Jesus 1 week more training. You've got Raheem Sterling with an extra week of training. But we'll cover that later on. For me, a lot of credit today, of course. You look at the players like Gabriel, like Saliba. I thought they both had immense games today. They truly, truly did. But for me, the praise goes on to the manager. He got the setup right. It wasn't the most entertaining game probably for Arsenal fans. It isn't a game that you'll watch back and go, oh, wow, I was so excited with the way we passed and moved the ball. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Oh, my God, it's going to go down in the history of football. No. It was about coping with the injuries away at a hostile ground against a team that loves to move the ball quickly and attack. And Arsenal got their game plan today spot on. Absolutely spot on from start to finish. And I can't wait to speak to the Spurs fans later on the phone-in part of this show, because the longer the game went on, the less likely Spurs looked like scoring. And I think what Arsenal did is they took the heart, they took the soul, they took the belief and the desire away from Spurs as an entirety as soon as that goal went in. What I'll also say is this, I mentioned it earlier, Romero and Vicario for the goal, horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Get goal side of your man. Get goal side of your man and stay with him. Even if you can't win the ball, as he jumps, lean into him, push him. You're giving a player as deadly in front of goal from set pieces as Gabriel a free jump, free reign for a bullet header 6 yards out. Vicario was more interested in getting involved in a scrap. Again, we know that goalkeepers, rightly or wrongly, have different rules to everybody else. You can smash through defenders. You can knee people in the head. You can elbow people. I'm not advocating for it, but we know goalies can do it. Oh, I'm going to sit here and have a fight. Free header, 6 yards out against Arsenal is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. And it's a couple of weeks running now in terms of match weeks in the Premier League where Romero's positioning and defensive understanding has cost important and major goals for Tottenham. And it just isn't good enough at this level of the game. We know he can be a very good player. We know he's been amazing at times for Spurs, amazing for Argentina. That is why the criticism has to be strong. That is why the criticism has to be tough, because you criticize the better players more than the lesser players. I'm also going to say this, Brennan Johnson, this man is not a football player. He is not a football player. He is a sprinter. He'll do well at the smaller clubs where he's not up against low blocks that often or there's more space to play in. He just isn't good enough for Tottenham. He is horrendous. Maddison, James Maddison, as I always call him, he is the eye test merchant's wet dream. He's the kind of person that they have wet dreams over. Oh, he looks so good. Oh, yes. Oh, he's so good. They love it. But what did he do again? There was a couple of good crosses into the box. Outside of that, it was a lot of pirouettes. It was ballet. It was pirouettes and turns. And, oh, doesn't his lines look good? Spurs fans should be fuming at this guy. He is absolutely dog breath. Absolute dog breath as a football player. He really, really is. Look, Son today, very, very quiet game. Ben White absolutely pocketed in. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Look, I thought Van der Ven had a really good game for Spurs. I really liked a lot of what Solanke did. But again, Spurs didn't give him a single clear-cut chance in the whole match. That's because Son was poor. That's because Maddison did diddly squat. And it's because Brennan Johnson is not a football player. So you can't really be looking at Solanke's hold-up play, link-up play was very, very good indeed. But as I've already stated, what Arsenal did today is what teams that win titles do. 6 or 7 players out, a number of first-team individuals out, pressure. Literally the media all week. If they lose, they're 5 points behind. Then there's the pressure on the City game. If they go 6, 7, 8 points behind, the league title's over in September. That is how it was built. And they stood up. They put their shoulders up. Let me start that again. They put their chins up. They put their shoulders out at the back, their chest out, and said, I am. And they delivered. They said, I am. And that saying, some of you may not have heard it, I am. It's what my fighting coach used to say to us. It was, when you step on the mats, when you get into the ring, you just say, I am. And I don't really know what it means. It just meant something in our gym. My old coach, Arthur, you didn't question anything he said like that. If you went, what does that mean? He'd hit you. So you just go, I think it means just stand up and make yourself be counted. That was my interpretation. If anyone's watching that used to train with Arthur, maybe you interpret it differently. That was always my thing. It was always just chin up, shoulders back, chest out, I am. Just go and do it. And that's what Arsenal did today. That's what Arsenal went out and did. And just in Gabriel's interview. Now, of course, they're happy. They're smiling, and they should be. They go into the Man City game now. Yes, they want to avoid defeat. But a defeat isn't disastrous for them now. It really isn't. And if they get a positive result this early in the campaign, it's already the title race is on. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. But overall, as I say, excellent win today for Arsenal. They showed grit, determination. Defensively, they're the best team in the league. Mikel Arteta proving his maturity as a manager. But the way he went out today, and I would say this to any Arsenal fans moaning, oh, it wasn't fun. Do you remember Arsenal fans moaning for the best part of 15 years? Why can't we win ugly? Why can't we win ugly? I remember hearing, literally, I used to live with 2 Gooners, and that's all they'd ever say. I'd be like, Phil, shut up. I'm bored. That's all they used to hear. Oh, we can't win ugly. They did today. You will get some people moan still, but it's par for the call. Well done, Arsenal. And by the way, well done, Tottenham. It was an entertaining game for me as a neutral watching.